So, after doing 99% Zamorak kills for 10 hours, I thought it would be time for me to man up and try and push Enrage at Zamorak for 10 hours, and compare the loot. Any Enrage after 100% adds in Phase 7. Zamorak will teleport you through a portal where you will have one final stand against him. Pretty similar to the last phase of Telos, but a little bit harder. This phase, in my opinion, is the most stressful part of any boss fight in the game. It gets to the point where I was having sweaty palms after finishing a kill, and my nerves were going like the first time you did Jad as a kid. This won't be a guide of any sorts, but I can explain my experience and my approach to tackling Zamorak at any Enrage over 100%. Just a brief overview of the rune mechanics. Runes have a negative effect as you activate them by charging the pad. Also give you some unique buffs. So with Rune 1, it makes Zamorak do a second hit, but you also gain extra adrenaline every basic. 2 will execute your character under a certain health point, but also reduces your cooldown on abilities. 3 summons these annoying little minions that help Zamorak. The buff will, while standing near a hex rune, you deal 5% more damage. 4 reduces the effectiveness of all your defenses, such as Reflect, Debilitate, and etc. But after an ultimate, your next ability does more damage and heals you. 5, it creates traps on the map that deal heavy magic damage. The buff is when you stand near the sword in the middle, you get like this very unique buff, but it's nothing to really play towards. 6 reduces all the healing you receive. This could be from food or something like resonance, or soul split even. But when you are below 60% health, you do increase damage. After each pad that you charge, it activates the rune and also adds a stack to any other rune you already activated, which increases the buff of Zami and yourself. Going into Phase 7, it swaps whatever order you previously did. Example, if you typically did 1, 2, 4, 6, 5, 3 at the start, like you might do for some 99% kills, it would swap those on P7 to 3, 5, 6, 4, 2, 1. My rune rotation that I settled with was 2, 4, 6, 1, 5, 3. And you can swap 5 and 3 around based on personal preferences. I don't mind the traps, but I really hate the minions. What you want to avoid the most is the high execute, so pad 2, and the debuff that reduces all forms of blocking damage, such as resonance and reflect, which is pad 4. So I'm going to go into P7 a little bit and what I did. The way I handled P7 is not perfect, but just in case anyone is curious how I handled P7, here's a quick overview of that. Starting off, before P7 even happens, make sure you use Storm Shards. Use these between phases 1 and 6. At any point it's off cooldown up till you have 10 stacks. Stack those babies up, as they are super nice to have on P7 for a free 30k crit hit. But once I get into P7, what I do is I will Omni Wild Magic the demon that instantly spawns. And then right after you kill the demon, instantly go to Zami as soon as you can. Start walking there while you're killing the demon. Apply as many debuffs as you can, and wait for the first rune to be chosen. In duo, both people throw out Wild Magic and debreath the demon, and then get on Zami and throw down Sunshine at least 3 squares away from each other. After the first rune is chosen, you need to get on that chosen rune as soon as you can. Use a high basic like Corruption Blast, and then use Tsunami, and then into Asphyxiate. After Tsunami, you should also switch to Blood Barrage, and then throw Greater Concentrated Blast and other high damage basics till that rune is finished off. On the second rune, I use Staff Spec into basics till 100% Adrenaline, and then I use Metamorphosis and Adrenaline Pot and continue with some basics, and as soon as it dies, you need to get on Zamorak as soon as you can, so use Bladed Dive or Surge to get you in the range. On Zamorak, you want to make sure by this point that you have Protect Melee up as you're running up to him, as he's going to hit you with 2 melees hits that hit really hard. And then my rotation is, as soon as I can hit him, use Omni into Smoke Tendrils, and then use that until you have a use that and Vitality Pot, and then Shatter, Wild Magic, and Debilitate. Sometimes I debilitate a little bit earlier, like right after I use smoke tendrils, and sometimes I don't debilitate at all. Really depends on what enrage you are at and how much the smoke is going to hit you for. If you don't end up one cycling, you need to use reflect and then res the melee hit. And assuming you did enough damage, you can kind of relax a little bit and just prep very well for the next attempt, where you should kill him within an Omni and some other thresholds before the big smoke hits you. So this is my preset for the 10 hours. I never changed this at all or tried other setups, so take that as you will. So going over the armor first, I have a Ring of Death, as I was learning and dying a lot. I just camped Ring of Death the whole time, didn't swap it out for anything. This probably saved me over 100 million deaths. If you are more confident in your ability to not die on P7, you can swap this out for a Reaver's Ring or a Channeler's Ring and just be fine. For armor, I have the obvious pick of Full Crit Bloom. This has the ridiculous tankiness that it has in general, because it has set effects which gives you up to 24% damage reduction to magic, and 16% damage reduction for melee hits, and a shield when your character falls below 20% health. So these are all crazy, and it has the added effect of being tank gear and animate dead. That combo is ridiculous. So for pure tankiness, this is what I do. For weapons, I have a dual melee switch for bladed dive and mobility in general. My main source of damage is going to come from the fractured staff of Armadale and dual wield magic with tier 88 wand and orb. I have the fractured staff of Armadale for its special, and just being a tier 95 weapon, it's the best for ultimates and thresholds. And then dual wield for switch for greater concentrated blast. The next item is the Grimoire. This is the one item I wish I kind of tried to switch out and see if the kills are still pretty consistent. But I currently take this for the big boy crits, and its combination with the staff of Fractured Armadale. It's just great combo, so for every single crit I get an extra auto that goes off. So that's why you take the Grimoire with this. My cape is the Zuck cape. This is the best in slot magic cape in game, and it gives a huge buff to the Omni ultimate ability. The amulet I have equipped is the best in slot Essence of Finality amulet, and I have two of these. The one I have equipped has the Armadale Battle Staff spec stored inside of it from Glaciers, because it has great synergy with the FSOA spec. And then the one in my inventory has a Zamorak staff stored inside of it. I used to have the Gothic staff, but because you already have a 100% hit chance here, it feels like, the Zamorak staff hits the exact same, but it reduces the magic level of Zamorak, which is great because it also, when it lowers the magic level of Zamorak, it then also reduces the damage that his mage hits will do. And this was really noticeable as you get it stacked up. Last item I have equipped is a Grasping Rune pouch. This just saves inventory space. I'll have several in my inventory as well, and it also reduces the rune cost. I have 3 in total to cover all the runes I need. And just a quick overview of my inventory. I won't go over everything here, as most of it's pretty self-explanatory. But we have generic food plus brews for not dying, overloads and prayer renewal, adrenaline potion, spiritual potion, which can be swapped out for super restore flask, planted feet switch, vuln bombs, lucky charms for extra money. Key highlights would probably be the infernal puzzle box and the vitality potion. Infernal puzzle box reduces up to 50% of the damage you take inside the Infernus during the Zamorak fight. And it also gives you the persistent rage ability, or the Urn of Adrenaline effect, where you do not lose adrenaline outside of combat. So it's just a great item, and I would say it's 100% recommended or even required here, as it's super easy to get. Vitality potion is definitely required, has multiple uses during the fights in general, and it can be used during the big bomb hit during phase 1 through 6, or why I say it's required is during phase 7, when you start your DPS rotation on Zamorak, you want to pop that. Just extra small things as well. So the familiar I used was the Hellhound, as it has a 20% damage absorption. And then for ores, I used Supreme Invigorate for my highest priority one, Majorat, and then Manacle for ores. And then also on screen, you can see my relic setup for archaeology. I did 8 hours of solo and an hour of duo and an hour of trio. And of all that, I recommend duos the most, as trio takes a lot more coordination to be clean, and there's more reason for failure. And duo is better than solo because you have to do essentially the same amount of work as you do in a solo, but you have an extra person. Because solo you have to kill 2 runes, and duo you also have to kill 2 runes. And it's a very similar rotation on P7, faster, it just seems to be the way to go. Starting off, I was at 180% for my max solo Enrage. I ended at 460%, which is just a little shy of that 500 kill, which comes with the title. You can see my kills and log at the start and at the end of the 10 hours. I got 31 solo kills and also did 10 kills in duo and trio, for a grand total of 41 kills in 10 hours. I got 2 uniques in my name, first being a hood, which I got in a trio, and a divine bowstring, which I got in the very last hour in a duo. And it is the single biggest drop I've ever gotten in RuneScape. We also received a pair of boots, which I do not have footage for, and it was not in my name. Now for what everyone wants to see, how much did I make in the total 10 hours? So let's start off with what if we went crazy dry, as my fiance was when I was explaining how excited I was for the bow piece I got. In commons, I made a total of 255.8 mil. 243 mil from Zamorak alone, and the rest of the loot was killing the mages that start the fight, which works out to about 6.2 mil a kill in just commons. I won't be including in tradables such as slivers from the Lucky Charm, but they do add up and are valued currently at several mils. In uniques, the hood sold for 61.5 mil, and split 3 ways that worked out to about 20 mil each. The boots sold for 150 mil, so about 50 mil split from that. That works out to 70 mil in splits from trio. The divine bowstring sold for just under 2.3 bill, which isn't a crazy amount, which split for about 1 bill 150 mil each. So that works out to roughly 1 bill 220 mil in uniques, for a grand total of 1 bill 475 million and 800k in 10 hours. But now how much did I actually make in profit? As any endgame PVM activity in RuneScape, there are supply costs. Showing now will be my starting supplies versus my ending supplies. Note how I actually had a net positive return on soul runes and almost broke even in bloods. We don't really want to talk about the water rune consumption, because those really add up. It cost a little under 117 mil to PVM for 10 hours, with the biggest cost coming from the Grimoire pages, runes, and Vuln bombs. So let's subtract that from the profit in commons, and you get about 140 mil in profit in 10 hours. And if you add then the uniques that we got, it would work out to almost 1.4 bill in profit in 10 hours, and just about 136 mil GP an hour. Which, if I go ahead and add it to my spreadsheet that only has 99% run on it at the moment, it would overtake that for the best money making method I have done. My kills fluctuated from 1 kill an hour to 6 kills an hour, depending on how much I shit the bed on P7 and depending on the Enrage. But if I profited 139.1 mil in commons and 41 kills, that works out to 3.4 mil in profit at kill. With uniques included, 1 bill 359.1 mil and 41 kills would work out to 33.1 mil profit a kill, which is crazy. I would say confidently that if you do Zamorak duo runs at 400% or higher, and get 6 kills an hour at Zamorak, Zamorak would work out to well over 100 mil an hour in the long run, with the prices of the bow right now. Well, I think that's everything I have. So before you leave, I would really appreciate if you guys could throw me a sub. I would like to add chapters for my video in the future, as it just makes skimming the videos a lot easier for future content. But for whatever reason, YouTube threw a subscription requirement on this. So if you could subscribe, that'd help me make better videos in the future. And also, if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't, leave a comment on anything I can do to improve and what you'd like to see in the future. This could be other forms of content, other bosses you'd like me to see and do an overview of. And till next time.